Hi there, it's Amy from Cakes with Faces. Now before we start, I just wanted to show you this. It's a very first look at my Japan travel guidebooks. The printer sent me this picture to show how they've come out. They're going to be arriving really soon, then I'll be packing them up and sending them out to you. I can't wait to see how they look in real life. If you'd like a copy, you can pre-order on cakeswithfaces.co.uk. The link's in the description. Now on to the video. Now, I know from the comments that some of you like Japanese trains as much as I do, and I think this is something interesting, even if you're not really into Japanese trains. Today's video is about joyful trains, which are novelty trains in Japan that have a theme or something special about them. Some of them just have large windows and outward-facing seats so you can enjoy the view. Some of them are really luxurious. Some are themed, sometimes with characters like the Hello Kitty Shinkansen or this Pokemon train. More about this one later. And some of them have really unusual features that you'd never normally expect to find on a train. You find these trains in particular areas and they're made to promote tourism and make people want to visit that area. Like this one, the FruiTea Fukushima, which serves desserts made with fruit grown locally in the prefecture. And joyful trains isn't just some name I've made up, although I think you'll agree the trains truly are joyful. It's what they're actually called by Japan Railways, which I think is just fantastic. Of course, not all trains in Japan are like this. Most of them are completely normal, but I do think it's great that these exist and that people have put the effort into creating these special one-off unique trains just so people can enjoy them and have a great experience. So today I'm going to show you 7 of them, which I think are the best joyful trains. And if you enjoy this, there's new Japan videos on my channel every other Thursday if you want to subscribe. The first one is the Toreiyu Tsubasa, which runs on the Yamagata Shinkansen line, which is an offshoot of the main Tohoku Shinkansen, which runs between Tokyo and Hokkaido. The name Toreiyu comes from the English word for train, which they pronounce toren, and yu, which means water. It's often found in the name of onsen or hot spring baths, so Toreiyu, train, water. And the special thing about this train is it has footbaths inside the train, so you can bathe your feet while you're enjoying the beautiful scenery going past. I think it's a testament to how smooth the Shinkansen ride is that you can have a footbath inside the train and the water doesn't spill everywhere. In the other carriages, it's traditional Japanese style with tatami mats like in a traditional house or a ryokan, a traditional hotel. At the bar, they serve local sake and fruit juice from Yamagata, the prefecture you're travelling through. And even the patterns around the train are based on fruits or various other local things. And that's something you'll see quite often with these joyful trains. A lot of the things are based on the local area. I do like in Japan how there's a lot of value placed on regional specialities and things that are special to each area. Next up, we've got the SL Ginga. Not quite sure how you say this one. I think it's Ginga. It runs between Hanamaki and Kamaishi in Iwate Prefecture. This one's an old-fashioned steam train. It's actually an old steam locomotive that's been restored, and the theming's based on a fantasy novel by Kenji Miyazawa called Night on the Galactic Railroad. The author comes from Hanamaki, which is where the train runs from or to, depending which way you're going. The novel features a steam train that runs through the galaxy, and the special thing about this train is there's a planetarium on board, so you can enjoy gazing at the stars while you're on your train ride. They say it's the first planetarium ever to be on board a train, and I can't really imagine there'd be a lot of competition. The rest of the carriages are themed like a train from the 1920s when the book was published. Next is the Kotatsu train. This one runs in the winter on the Sanriku Railway on the coast in Tohoku from Sakari Station to Kamaishi Station. This is the coziest train because it has kotatsu. A kotatsu is like a kind of coffee table covered with a quilt with a built-in heater that you can sit at in the winter. Now, because it gets so hot in the summer in Japan, Japanese homes tend to have air conditioning instead of central heating, which means they do get a bit cold in the winter time. So people get a kotatsu to sit at and be all cozy and warm, and it sounds absolutely lovely. I'd love to have one. So on this train, you can see the winter scenery on the coast. Sometimes it is snowy in this area in Tohoku, while you're all warm and cozy in your Kotatsu, and they serve you a bento lunchbox of local food. Now up to this point, it's all nice and lovely and cozy, but then when the train goes through a tunnel and it gets dark, a man comes out dressed as a demon wielding an axe. It's based on a legend where on New Year's Eve, a demon comes looking for children who are lazy or bad. And I guess because the train runs in December and January when New Year's is, that's why this happens. All I know is I don't know any other trains that have axe-wielding demons on board. Next is the Pokemon with You train, or as I think it should be called, the Pikachu train. It runs between Ichinoseki and Kesunuma stations in Iwate and Miyagi Prefecture. It was introduced to cheer people up after the tsunami and earthquake in 2011 and to encourage people to visit the area. And I think you can't help but smile when you see how it looks, unless you hate Pokemon. Everything is Pikachu themed. The curtains, the seats, even the motifs on the lights. There's paw prints on the floor. Everything is yellow and brown like Pikachu. And look at all these plushies. There's even a seat where you, I guess, pretend you're driving the train with controls on a big Pikachu head. Everyone who loves Pokemon goes to the Pokemon Center in Tokyo, but I wish more people knew about this so they could visit Tohoku as well. Next up is the limited express Aso Boy, which runs in Kyushu between Aso, where there's a volcano called Mount Aso, and Beppu, which is where I saw the Beppu Hells. This was the best thing I did in Kyushu. There's a video on my channel. This is a pretty cute train with a dog mascot called Kuro. Kuro means black, and he's a little black dog. And he's all over the outside of the train. If you ride the train, you get a special card with a stamp of Kuro the dog. Rubber stamps and stamp rallies are really popular in Japan as souvenirs and as a way to commemorate that you've been somewhere. There's special seats so adults and children can sit together with a smaller seat by the window and a little step so kids can climb up. And there's a Kuro cafe with puddings and ice creams made from milk from Jersey cows from the local dairy farms. There's lots of things for kids. There's playrooms, there's picture books to read while you're on the journey, but the most unusual thing is this. It's a ball pond with wooden balls. I don't know why they're wooden. Maybe it's just to be a bit more classy than the traditional plastic ball pit. But either way, it looks really fun and a great way for families to travel through this part of Japan. Next is the Omocha Densha in Wakayama City, which isn't too far away from Osaka. Omocha means toys, and this is the toy train. There's banks of gachapon inside the train. There's displays of figures for you to look at, and for actual kids, there's playpens and seats with hobby horses built in. On that same train line, there's a station you might have heard of because it has a cat station master, which brings us on to the next train. The Tama train, Tamaden, which runs on the same line in Wakayama City. It's dedicated to Tama, the cat station master, whose official job is to welcome passengers. The train itself is very cute. It even has whiskers on the front. It's decorated with 101 cats, like some kind of train version of Neko Atsume. I'm not sure what the significance of 101 is, but it's a lot of cats. The inside's really quaint and cute as well, with lots of cats and books. It looks really cozy. And there's paw prints on the floor. How cute. So how did all this start? The story goes that Tama the cat just started hanging around the station, and she was there so much that they made her the station master. Before this, the train line wasn't really used that much, and it was actually looking like it was going to go bankrupt. But after they appointed the cat station master, so many people went there just to see the cat that it actually saved the train line from closing. Tama the cat sadly passed away in 2015. 3,000 people went to her funeral and left flowers and cans of tuna for her at the station. How heartbreaking is this? But if you go there today, you can still see a cat station master. You can see her apprentice, Tama 2, who's called Ni Tama. Ni means 2 in Japanese. And there's also Tama 4, Yon Tama, Yon means 4, at another station. And if you're wondering about Tama 3, San Tama, she does also work for the railway at their museum. So joyful trains were the key to success for this train line. They've got the cat train, the toy train, and there's 2 others as well, based on local foods from the area. There's the strawberry train, which plays Strawberry Fields by the Beatles when it gets into the station, and the umeboshi train. Umeboshi is pickled plum. This one has a traditional Japanese theme with paper screens, lots of wood, and traditional patterns. If you want to go on any of these joyful trains, some of them are covered by the Japan Rail Pass, some of them you have to pay a supplement, and some are run by other train companies. Bear in mind they're not all that frequent. Some of them only run once a day or a couple of times a week, so check the timetables online. You do also need to make a reservation. Some of them only have a couple of carriages, and I'm sure you can imagine how popular they are, especially that demon train. So I hope you enjoyed this roundup of joyful trains. I just really like that the railways have put the effort into making these special trains. They're so much more fun than regular boring carriages. And I like how they feature the local regional specialities. I've never been on one, but I hope I can one day. If you've been on any of them or any of the other joyful trains, let me know in the comments what it was like. And I'll be back not next week, but the week after on Thursday. Bye bye.